Okay guys, we're back for part 7, starting on the fuselage. Stripped down to the wood. I decided to build a little bomb bay inside this thing. I do the candy drop at most of our fun flies when we have enough kids there, which we usually do. And I had a little homemade built box that I had on the bottom of my Piper Cub over here, which worked good. But this plane is my Gunslinger, of course. It's twin engine. The servos and everything for the throttles being out into the wing, it left this compartment right here in the center, which is right over the CG, all open. So I boxed in each end with balsa. I don't know if you can see up in there, boxed all that in, so I got a pretty good sized compartment. What I did was on the top I put a piece of balsa here, and this is just some little hardwood scraps I had that I glued across the block that bolts the wing in. Closed all that in, and I will mount, I'll probably cut some of this up, but I'll mount a servo somewhere back here, and there'll be a hole come out right here for the rods. And what I've done here is took some little light ply and marked it. First I glued some square stock in here, all the way across here for the doors to lay on. This piece was already here for the landing gear block. I took my Dremel with a very thin disc and cut slots down into that. And then I took plastic hinges, cut one end off a little bit so I didn't have to go too deep. Let me see if I can get this in here one-handed. Kind of a trick. Hang on just a minute. I just stuck the hinges in temporarily. I won't glue them in until after I cover this wood to match the bottom of the plane. They won't even hardly show. I also took my Dremel and cut little grooves with a little larger disc all the way through those square stocks. I believe that's 1/4 inch. And anyway, I will, after this is all covered, I will glue those in place. Get them lined up here. And there you go. I'll have to sand the seam in the middle so the covering will have room to close. But there you have it. I got 2 bay doors that will open and drop my candy, or whatever else I decide to use it for, but especially the candy drop. Anyway, I will cover those to match the bottom. There will be a slot cut back here with I'll glue a little block of wood on each corner of this and put a pin in it with probably a ball link. And I'll have to show you how I rig the servo later, but when that arm pushes down, or there'll be double arms coming out of here, one to each door, and it will push the doors open and then close them. So we'll do a little bit more on that as I come along, but I want to show you that part before I get all the covering on and everything. So got a nice sized little bomb bay in there, and it's all closed up, hold quite a bit of candy. Alright, be back in a bit. Okay, I've got the bottom of the fuselage covered. We'll do the sides next, and then the top last. So I've got my bay doors all set up. I don't have them glued in yet completely because I'm going to put ball links on the end of this with little wood screws, and then I'm going to do the same thing on the servo arm, double, and then I'll use 2 helicopter rod linkages with ball links on the end of them. That way they'll swivel, and when the servo arm comes down and pushes against these, it'll push them out, and they'll swivel on the end of this. So should work fine, I think. It'll be a pretty cool little apparatus. The hinges, I may paint those hinges black with brush. I don't like that white sticking out on it, so I've got some black fuel-proof paint. I'll probably spray in a bottle and paint those with a brush. But I got my groove cut out here for my linkage to come through. So anyway, we'll move on to the rest of it. Alright, boys and girls, I'm coming right along. All I like is a little bit on the stab. I got to cover it and the rudder, and the covering's all done. Well, the nose piece. Got the fuselage all done except for the nose piece today. There's color scheme on it. I think it turned out pretty good. Fuselage was a lot easier to do than the wing, because it was just all flat and square pretty much. But engines, there's my Rebel Skull flag stickers, flaming flags down there, and sticker on the top of the fuselage. Anyway, got a heck of a mess here. I'm going to have to clean up my room before I do any more. It's getting out of hand, but been quite a job covering this thing, but it's sure been fun. But we are almost done with that, and then another couple days we will start putting the electronics in it. I still have to cover, like I say, the stab and the little nose cone that goes on here. I got to cover it. I'm going to put some, I'm going to dowel pin it, and I'm going to put 4 little magnets in each corner so I can stick it on there and take it off, because I may have to put a battery or something in there. I don't know if it's any indication right now what it's going to be with these engines on here. This thing is going to be nose heavy as heck, but maybe all different when I get it all put together, landing gear and stuff on it. I'm not sure, but right now it feels way nose heavy. We'll see. Alright, see you next round.